All right, all right, all right, all right. Good morning, everyone. This is Brett Johnson. This is the Brett Johnson Show. Well, we got a good one today. We got a serious one. We'll roast some of my bitches too. Don't you worry about that. I hope Eastern Kentucky's doing all right. I hope everybody's doing okay today. Except for those I don't hope's doing okay. Let's check the comments real quick. And we'll get started. I'm not going to try to do the hour 45. I don't even know how that ran into that long yesterday. I'm going to try to do that today. Let everybody go about their day. All right. So, checking the comments. Teresa Little Master, good morning. Hope everything's doing all right. Like, share, subscribe. I keep forgetting to ask people to do that. You know, if you like the show, if you don't like the show, because, I mean, I'm not Rush Limbaugh. And Rush Limbaugh had as many or more haters that would tune into his show religiously than he did likers. So if you don't like the show, if you do like the show, hit that subscribe button so you can see how much you don't like me. All right? Make some comments. I don't care if they're positive comments or not. I don't. You guys want to call in? It's 850-797-0155. That's my Google Voice number. So 850-797-0155. By all means, call in. I don't care if you like me or not. You can call in. I'll get you on the air. If you don't like me, I might roast your ass. Just saying, just throwing that out there. We do have some news. It's interesting. All right. Caitlin Watson, good morning. Let's pray for M's family today as they face another court date. So, it's not like I don't know things that are going on. Today, they have a court date. Today, let's hope we get some good news. Let's hope we get some good news. I can't really comment a lot about that. I was informed last night by a friend of Emmeline's family about the court date, and I sent a message to them, that I thought that all of the family should show up there, and that I expected today to be a good day for justice. And I also said that if it wasn't a good day for justice, that those people who, said differently might rue the day. So I expect some good news today. I truly do. All right. Pressure from outside. So you've got that echo chamber that these corrupt individuals, that the child predators live in and that are protected. You've got that echo chamber that they're in, and they feed amongst themselves and they victimize everyone else, and they make sure that anyone who disagrees is punished. When you're able to apply pressure to that group, it facilitates change. That's a fact. It does. But the key is applying pressure, being able to do that. And they've been historically very good about making sure that no outside forces can apply that pressure. Unfortunately, unfortunately, they fucked up. And they didn't realize that they had beaten down the people of Eastern Kentucky so much that all it took was someone providing an avenue for speaking out. And when that happened, oh boy. So the Hagakure, which is the Shogun way of life, the Hagakure, the laws of war, the art of war. Even I've got on the shelf here, I've got not that one. Even Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power. They all tend to say the same thing. They say, take your time deciding on which path to go, which course of action to take. By all means, take all the time that you need to do that. But when you do it, when you decide that course of action, proceed forward. Never look back, never regret, never question your choice. And it's in that course of action. It's that dedication to act on that one path that you've chosen and never looking back. It's that causes victory, that brings victory. And all three of those works and many other works throughout history also say that your opponent is not to be shown mercy ever until you win. And then at that point, you show mercy. We are not showing any mercy whatsoever to the corrupt individuals, to the child predators, to people who have victimized the children and the people of Eastern Kentucky. It's not going to happen. And we are not going to stop. And we are not going to look back and question whether we are doing the right damn thing, because we are. We are. This is not something that, you have to really debate on whether is it okay if we hammer corrupt individuals and people who are harming our children and beating us down. No, you don't have to question that. That's not up for debate, regardless of what Lynn Noble might think. Oh, damn, Brett called one. So look, I don't care if you make negative comments. I don't. Lynn, you made a comment yesterday on a post. I don't even remember what the post was, but you said, mind your own fucking business. And I was like, well, that sounds like something I would say. So I was like, who is this person? So I saw the name Lynn Noble. Then I clicked on the picture, and it did not look to me like that woman would say those words. I was, to use a white people word, flabbergasted. And I thought to myself, I was like, well, everyone's got an opinion, and opinions are like assholes. Scott Blair's is bigger than everyone else's. That's what I thought. Lynn, hi. That's all I'll say. Hi. Hey, I appreciate you watching the show. I appreciate you commenting on the post there. It helps bring new viewers in. So thank you so much for helping out the Brett Johnson Show. Let's continue through the comments. Let's see. Peggy Logan, prayers appreciated for this day in court. Peggy, I absolutely agree with you. Prayers for today. I also want to, I've been talking about John Hansen, and I need to say that I have, the more information I gather, I've talked to law enforcement, I've talked to other prosecutors, I've talked to people in the community. Some people do not like John Hansen at all. Anything, and I have referenced a pool and shaking hands with unemployed. My understanding is that event did not happen the way it was initially told to me. And if it did happen, it was 15 years ago, and it was at the Hazard Pavilion, and it was a locker room, and I guess someone may have walked in on the gentleman. I was talking to a law enforcement guy yesterday, and I said, hey, this is what I'm finding out. And I said, it sounds more and more like what actually happened was he was bopping the dolphin under the big tent, and someone walked in on him in the locker room. And the guy said, I know John, and maybe. And I was like, well, I got to tell you, I may have rubbed one out at some point in a locker room as well. What I'm getting at is that I don't want to hammer someone who simply makes a mistake. Okay? There's a difference between making a mistake, and there's a difference between wanting to harm individuals and victimize people. All right. I don't know about Mr. Hansen. I'm sure he's political. All right. But I've also been told that he is a very good prosecutor, that he doesn't mind upsetting law enforcement, that, the sheriff's department absolutely lied to him about what was on the video from Ramey's. Lied, outright fucking lied. And I was told that he was very irate about that. And because of that, I do expect us to receive, and the family of Emmeline to receive some very good news. I also expect, because I don't think that Natasha Combs and Austin Combs really give a damn about their children, because they allowed one to be raped since she was the age of 13. I also expect some good news for Noah Back's child victim. Okay, the one that has the DUI charge. That's what I expect. And I just wanted to say that about Mr. Hansen. So, dude, I'm going to quit hammering you, man. If I find out some more bullshit, I'll bring it up, because I don't play favorites. All right. But I'm going to quit hammering you as much, because I got other motherfuckers to hammer. And we got a guest in the show. Are you ready to come in the show today? You've not been on the show before. You sure you want to do this? He's a little guy. Sheriff Pookie, or I'm sorry, Candidate Pookie might pay us a visit. He's roaming around here someplace. He told me, someone made the comment that he might raise his leg on piss on those some of my bitches. And Pookie said, yes, I will absolutely piss all over crime. And I was like, Pookie, you are a good fellow. We'll get you some rotisserie chicken before the day is out. So he might pay us a visit. He's busy. He's busy making his, plotting out the strategies for the campaign and figuring out whether he's going to register as Democrat or Republican. That's what Pookie's doing. He's busy. I mean, I showed him that picture that Sandra Deaton created yesterday, and he was like, it seems that I am the star of the show, Brett, not you. And I was like, Pookie, I hate you. And he's like, Brett, feed me. And I was like, yes, sir. So moving right along. Let's see. Stephanie Smith, morning. I'll hope your day is blessed. Absolutely. And again, today the Clarks have a day in court, and we are hoping and expecting good news. Better get on there and get campaigning for Pookie if he's running for sheriff. You damn right. We're going to do a Pookie campaign. All right. Stephanie Smith. And why? Because obviously the sheriff there, they say, a guy couldn't get elected for dog catcher. I'm telling you, I truly believe that Pookie would be a much better sheriff than the one that Perry County has currently. And we got something to say about that. Of course we do. All right. Going on down the comments. Teresa, Josh Singleton. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Josh. I hope you're doing all right. Tanya Gay. Good morning, everyone. This is the best place to be, and with best Hellraiser for the cause, Brett Johnson. Good morning, Tanya. Thank you. Tina Smith. Good morning. Lisa Barrett, good morning from Old Vico. Lisa, good morning. Hope you're doing all right. Nutty Buddy, morning, everyone. Morning. Merlene Begley, good morning. Let's see. Teresa LeMaster, time to cuss and discuss. You're right. Susan Deaton, she's outstanding. She had asked me, she made that picture for Pookie that I put up. She had asked me, she's like, hey, I understand the language, but do you have to use the Lord's name in vain? And the next day I came on and I was like, that was a very, very reasonable request. It's not like I go off the handle when I don't know what I'm saying. All right. I use language and words the way I want to use them. I'm very adept at that. So when I'm cussing, it's not like I can't control myself. So I was like, yeah, I can do that, because it still allows me to say fuck, fuckity, fuck, fuck, fuck no, fuck that, fuck you. That's like my catchphrase. Fuck no, fuck that, fuck you. I get in an argument with someone, and that's what I tell them. And I say it so much that they start repeating it back to me. It becomes like this. Okay. So yeah. But yeah, I'm not going to use it. It slipped out like the day after that, this GD, and I won't use the Lord's name in vain if that really upsets me. I'm not going to do that. I'm not trying to really upset people just for the sake of upsetting them. I will say that the history of taking the Lord's name in vain has absolutely degraded over the centuries. If you look back at how people of old used to do that, it was very poetic. Now it's gotten down to, just GD. And I'm like, so it's not really even, I agree with you. I won't do it. So we won't go into the history of language. All right, just wish Joe Engel was open to feedback. Unfortunately, we don't get that privilege with him. And it's today I've got to have a difficult discussion about some of that with you guys. So, Blue Dodger, good morning. Lisa Combs, good morning from Bulin. Good morning, Bulin. Morning, Hazard from Jeanette Minglehall. Good morning. Angie Owens, good morning. Pookie, they said good morning to you. And they've got the hashtag Pookie for Sheriff 2026. You're already trending, my dude. I did the same thing, Brett. Good morning, Lynn. I'm sure you're watching. Good morning from Blue Dodger. Let's see what else we got. Can Pookie be sheriff and mayor? Or would that be considered corrupt? Asking for a friend. So that's an interesting question. Can Pookie be a sheriff and a mayor? We could ask, I guess the best person to ask that question to would be Tony Eversole. That's what I call, that's a pause for theatric effect. Next week, we'll talk about Tony. Next week. I just wanted to, post that thing on Facebook yesterday to let people know that, man, that shit's coming. And no, Tony, I got some shit to say to you about Roy Campbell's death. And I guess June, and I'm not saying that June is the devil. June is not the devil. She is not. I would not say that. June is not the devil. She's more of a lesser demon, a lesser, more ugly demon. But I'm not going to say that on the air. Shit, I said that on the air. We'll get to you next week, Tony. But you could ask him that question. He could probably answer that more appropriately. Let's see. Howard Sumner, good morning, my friend. Hope you're doing all right. Gail, I'm telling you, Pookie, they love you all the way. Viper, good morning. Viper, get the Pookie shirts ready. There you go. Josh Singleton, hang in there like a hair in a biscuit. Speaking of biscuit, I've got my delicious pork chop biscuit here this morning. Probably won't have a chance to eat it until the show is done. Oh, my goodness. Miss Maggie 591. Hi from Idaho. Shit. I'm getting watched in Idaho this morning. Thank you so much. Good morning. I hope you're doing all right. Tiff Gross, good morning. Shirley Hall, good morning. Okay. I will continue to check the comments. We've got the comments going on screen too, so you guys get that. I'm going to also go ahead. Let's see if I can get to that because I don't want to. I don't think I can do it. Let's see. Yeah, share folder. There we go. Let's see. Got it. Where's my link? Copy link. Yeah, there we go. So I'm also posting because we're going to talk about this a little bit this morning. This is the Dropbox link, and it'll be in the comment section. There we go. It's the comment section. It's a Dropbox link to Happy Mobilini's or Donald Mobilini and Sandra Combs' complete education file. The only thing that's been redacted from that has been stuff that's still pending. Still pending. This son of a bitch has still got things still pending. So think about that for a minute. That's some of those lawsuits he's got that he's still wondering, how in the fuck did Brett Johnson find out that I have lawsuits and that they're still pending? And that some have been settled by the city of Hazard. That's not supposed to be known, but he knows it anyway. What the hell's going on? We don't know. He's beating the dog shit out of us. Before we get started with the fun of the show, and this is going to go into what I'm going to talk about shortly. I mentioned the Hagakure, choosing a path, going down the path, never looking back, never faltering, always continuing forward. And that is what helps facilitate defeating an enemy. All right? That's a fact. Some things happen, though. Some things happen. Some serious shit happens. And sometimes it causes people to pause. Fortunately, my pause took place at about 11:30 last night. So I was able to pause while I slept, and I woke up this morning resolved. So it didn't really affect me that much. All right. I mentioned yesterday sexual assault and how I was talking about it against women, um, and how women, those people who are assaulted, less than, it's over 60% ever report the crime because of victim shaming, victim blaming. We in cybercrime, we tend to blame the victims who are defrauded. Society does, and law enforcement, and security companies, and media, and family, and friends, and work associates. It's even worse when someone is a victim of sexual assault. Um, those victims are already, they've been defiled and abused in a way that, unless it's happened to you, you can't understand. All right? You can't. When it happens to, and people may argue with me on this, but when it happens to a male, there are things, that number has to be well over 90% that never report it, because that's something that a man doesn't talk about. All right? It's something that's not talked about. It's something that's very, when it happens to a man, if you talk about it, people are always going to view you as that. And I guess it's the same thing as if you're a female. They're always going to view you as that rape victim. I want you to bear that in mind, because the discussion that I'm going to have here in a little bit absolutely has to do with that. We live in a society where, when bad things happen to people, a lot of those people have very little avenue to overcome those bad things, to heal, to find closure, to get justice. Very few opportunities, especially with crimes like that. All right. I'll approach that toward the end of the show. Or do you want me to do it? I guess I can do it right now. Because I'm in a sober mood now. From saying that, Maggie from Idaho had to get up before chickens to listen to your show. Good morning from Vico. Good morning, Brett from coastal North Carolina. Good morning, Caroline Morgan. Good morning, Brett Johnson. You are the man for exposing the crooks and pedos. Good morning, Brett and Pookie from Crab Orchard, Kentucky. There we go. Dina, I wish they would investigate the ones who are running for office before they got in there. Well, yeah, amen. There's just as many men sexually abused as women, but are ashamed to come forth. That's Tanya Gay, and that's true. That's true. There's I forgot the name of the book, and Nick Nolte and Barbara Streisand starred in the film. Nick Nolte plays a character. It's an outstanding, very bothering book. And Nick Nolte plays a man who, as a child, he was raped. And that absolutely has to do with today. So I posted yesterday, and this is going to piss some people off. But at the Brett Johnson Show, we promise. At the Brett Johnson Show, this is what I slept on last night. Woke up this morning, I was in the shower, thinking about this as well. Do I want to do this today? Yeah, I do. Yesterday, I commented about a preacher, the grandfather of Joe Eastep. His name is Marian. Joe Engel. His name is Marian Eastep. Marian Eastep. Marian Eastep was murdered around exit 56 outside of Hazard, Kentucky. He was shot 3 times in the chest, once in the head. The only thing taken, money wasn't taken. Nothing else was taken except the Bible. Except the Bible. And I said yesterday, that is not, first of all, hitchhikers, the vast majority are just dudes or someone wanting a ride. That's what I said. I also said that it's very odd that the only thing taken was the Bible, because a Bible is a very, very personal thing. So why on earth would someone who killed that preacher not steal the money, not take anything else except the Bible? And that was something I was really having problems with. And I started getting messages. Now, here's the thing. There is a possibility that, Pookie, I'll let you do your campaign here in a minute. There's a possibility that Joe Engel doesn't know any of this. There's a possibility. There's also a possibility that he does, and that because of what it is, he chooses to sit on his ass and not do anything. I would not have even mentioned Marian Eastep yesterday at all had not someone that was related to Marian message me and ask me to see if I could do something about it. And the problem with that is that sometimes people ask for the truth and they may not want to know the truth. That's the problem. So I am not saying that this is true. I'm not. I'm saying what I was told. And some of it makes a lot of sense. Some of it does not. I got a few messages yesterday. And it started out, just one person dropped a short note and said that, hey, I heard that Marian Eastep was murdered because of a sexual assault that took place against a child at his church. And right now is when the members, I have no idea how many members are in that church. I have no idea. And I do not mean to piss you guys off at all. But here at the Brett Johnson Show, our course of action is getting at the truth, regardless of who it upsets, regardless of the consequences. So that's the first thing I was told, was that. And that caused me to pause. It did. It caused me to pause because it started to make more sense about the Bible. And I see the comments starting to come up. I'm not going to read them now. I'm going to read them in a minute because I'm going to get through with this. That made more sense to me because of the Bible, because of that Bible being a very personal thing, but it didn't really click all the way. I'm sometimes slow. So as the day went on, I continued to get more and more messages. Until finally, and these people continued to say kind of the same thing. And more information was being added to it. And again, I am not saying this is true. I don't know, but this is what I'm being told. And it's enough for me to, usually I won't do this, but it's enough for me to mention it for a few reasons. If there was an assault, I can promise you it wasn't the first time or the last time. It happened to others who have not spoken out. If there was an assault, that means that people in the community and in the church, they would have seen flags. Someone else knew. That's a fact. So the reason I'm mentioning this, I'm wanting to know. And by me mentioning this, I'll get people that are trying to fry my ass. I'm sure Joe Engel, who's already been having a shit conniption, is going to absolutely blow his top. I'm wanting people to reach out and let me know what's going on that. All right. Ultimately, I was the picture that finally came up, and I was even given a name. The picture that finally came up was that back in the day, this family of Pentecostals, they moved to Hazard, Kentucky, and they either lived with Marian Eastep or they lived very close to Marian Eastep, and they had a child. And this child was sexually abused by a preacher. And this child grew up to be a one percenter. Now, what is a one percenter? A one percenter is the enforcer for a motorcycle gang. A one percenter is the guy who goes out and kills those people who need to be killed. And the story goes that this one percenter, he's not doing it for the gang. He's doing it because males, what are you going to do? And if that happened, I'm sure that this haunted him every day of his life. So he travels to Hazard, Kentucky, and he exacts his own form of justice. That's what I was told by more than one person. And I sat there and I was like, you know, if someone is in a position of power like that, the voice of God, Pentecostal, the voice of God, and that person is using that position of power, the voice of God, to victimize individuals. And I'm not saying it happened. I'm saying this is what I'm told. But that person is doing that. And then later in life, one of his victims comes to exact justice. It would seem to me very appropriate for the person who is exacting that justice to remove the word of God from that individual who was absolutely not from God. So there we go. That's what I was told. If you guys, I wanted to get that out, and that may upset a lot of people. Probably will. And sorry if it did. You know, as more news and stories come up, I will absolutely share those with everyone. Needless to say, that bothers me a great deal. Miss Maggie, 591, predators use no reporting as advantage, grooming, abusing boys. That is absolutely a fact. Leanne Marie, The Prince of Tides is the name. The author, I forgot the author. He's from Charleston, South Carolina. He's an outstanding author as well. He approaches a lot of hard topics. A few films have been made from his books as well. Anthony Joseph, good morning. Shot in the jaw. There was something in the Bible, maybe a ledger. Maybe, I don't know. Pookie is famous. We love that baby. We posted a VHS tape of Marian preaching titled "The Wicked Shall Be Cut Off." Well, there you go. Pookie is famous from Deanne. Pookie is famous again. Deanne, just check out their Facebook pages, see who they run with. 9 out of 10 times you'll find something. That is true. I know a few that are running and what they do for their money. Crooks before they get in. Absolutely. Denny Owens. Hey, Hazard, Kentucky here. Hey, Denny, hope you're doing all right, brother. Brandy. So that's how this show works. You receive a lot of information that you cannot verify, and then you spread it to your following, changing the way people are viewed who could have lived their lives in the best possible way. Does this make you feel good about yourself, or what exactly? It's so fulfilling, isn't it? Brandy, I'm going to answer you in just a second. Deanna, and it does no good to call Sheriff Joe's office to report these people, especially if they are selling drugs. Well, that's probably true. 125 watching and only 14 likes. Come on, folks, hit that button. Brandy. Okay, Brandy, here's the deal. As I was talking about that story, I was very clear that I did not know if that were the truth. And I was very clear about why I chose to bring that up today. Now, that upsets you, I apologize. And I said I knew that it would upset individuals. And I chose to do it anyway. Now, the reason I chose to do it anyway is people, whether they like me or not, they will buy. I was about to use the Lord's name in vain. They will absolutely reach out to send me a message. Either, hey, I hope you die and rot in hell, or hey, I've heard this, or hey, I still hate your guts, but this is what's actually going on. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. All right. So when I said that it was worth it for me to do that, yes, it is. Okay. I don't do it on a whim. I don't do it without knowing the responsibility of doing it or being accountable for doing it. I don't. I was very clear multiple times. Did not know if it was the truth. This is what I was told. Now, you will note that on some things, I don't say that. I simply put its ass out there as this is the truth. And do you know why I do that? Because it is the truth. Noah Back is a child rapist. Happy Mobilini, which you are probably a supporter of, is absolutely a degenerate. Add in Tony Everso. Add in Scott Hot Dog Down a Hallway Blair. Add in corrupt, ugly Scott Alexander. I've not told a lie yet about any of them. And you know what? I don't have to. I don't have to tell a lie. The reason is the truth is more than damning enough. And by George, notice I did not take the Lord's name in vain. I'm not going to do that. By George, let's illustrate. Let's illustrate some of this truth right now, since you wanted that to happen. Brandy. Not that I wasn't going to do it anyway. So, Brandy, I'm sorry. I'm just kind of using you as a foil, Do not support any of that. My comment did not pertain to any of that things. I don't really care what your comment can pertain to. If you wanted to specify, you could specify in the comments. I'm happy to address that as well. All right. So, that being said, let's see if I can bring this up. Extra camera, no. Video file, no. Slides, share screen. Let's share screen. Okay, share screen. Okay. Not that one, not that one, not that one. That's my ugly mug on there. Where is it? So I put the Dropbox link in for there. All right, share. Okay. And we will add to stage. All right. Everyone, let's see. If you'd like to use me, let's discuss the sexual assault you committed. Brandy, again, Lex Friedman, 272. Never happened. Never happened. Okay. You'd like to say that. It never happened. When I was 15, I did assault a lady. I've talked about that to millions of people. I've never hidden that. All right. Never hidden that. And I've regretted that every single day of my life. So while you may want to throw that out there, anybody that wants to know about that can watch any number of interviews, speeches, articles I've written, anything else about that. And no, it was not a sexual assault. Thank you so much for trying to frame it as that. I was charged. I spent time over that. And I have worked since that point in time to try to be a better person. So whether you like that or not, I don't really give a flying fuck. Okay? Those who want to know, I was 15. I don't blame when you're a child, you can't help what the adults in your circle do. When you become an adult, you have an opportunity to choose a better path. I came from a very abusive home, and my mom had left my dad. I thought that I was going to go live with my father. He had certainly portrayed it as such. And one day I called him up and I didn't know. I mean, I was, you know, called him up and he was like, no, matter of fact, I just got married. And I just kind of went to the ARH hospital. I walked in the elevator and first person walked in there, I snapped and I beat that woman because she looked a lot like my mom. And that's not an excuse. That's simply what happened. And there is not a day in my life that I have not regretted that at all. And because even though you bring that up, that does not mean for 1 second that I'm going to stop what I am doing. Ever, that it upsets you, that that you may be angry over me calling some of these people out, or any number of people may be angry at that, absolutely has no bearing about my choice to continue forward. All right. So by all means, you can bring that up. I'd appreciate if you told the truth about it. You can bring it up as much as you want. I've not hidden that at all. At all. I've literally talked about that to millions of individuals. So there you go. Okay. There you go. Now, carrying right along, Brandy. So what we're sharing here, if everyone can see this, what we're sharing here is the education file of Donald Happy Mobilini. And we do not go on rumor. If we do, we say it's rumor. Okay. We're looking at the education file of Donald Mobilini. These are actual pictures. And these are not the only pictures. These are the pictures that you're allowed to see if you're not law enforcement. So these are the pictures from 2008 of Donald Mobilini, and the children's faces have been redacted. Children. The children's faces, the females, have been blacked out. All right. This is Donald, and there's Donald driving as the kids are in the back, smoking pot, drinking alcohol. All right. So these are the pictures. Now, the Dropbox file is there. The Dropbox file is there. So you guys can open up Donald Mobilini's education file. You can go through all this yourself. Now, I've told several instances that happened during Donald Mobilini's notorious career as a principal for Hazard High School. You know, he allowed students to bring alcohol, marijuana in. He took a group to a Kid Rock concert, gave them alcohol and marijuana. He headed a senior trip to New York where 2 students were raped, and one of them he tells it's her fault that she was raped, not to complain about it or file a report because it will ruin the rapist's career. And then later on in his career, he decides that the best thing for Hazard High School is to dress the boys up, the children up, the boys into women's negligees, and the girls, the girl children, into Hooters outfits, and then have the boys give him lap dances in front of everyone and grind on his crotch, which I'm sure provided some form of sexual satisfaction. I've said all that. And it's not like I picked those things for a specific reason. There's a shit ton of stuff. All right. So what happens is during this rape, you see, I continue to revisit things. What I'll do is I'll tell a story and I'll let it go. It's not like I don't know the rest of the story. I'll tell the story, I'll let it go, and then I'll revisit, because people like Donald Mobilini and Scott Alexander and Scott Blair. They think they can hunker down and let the storm blow over and everything will be all right. Brett will move on to a different topic. You are my topic. You are my topic. You, just you. Just you. Just because I don't mention you for a couple of days don't mean I've forgotten about you. All right. So what happens is he takes those children to that Kid Rock concert. Pictures are taken. Evidently, a video was shared. Evidently, Happy Mamalini's daughter, from what I'm told, actually sent a video out. Not Bright, child. Of course, you're not a child anymore. Not Bright. You see some of the pictures. The pictures that you don't see are what law enforcement is only allowed to see. You know, one of the children bent over the car seat. No, Happy wasn't doing it. The other children were. So that's one of the pictures that's there in the file, not in the file we're allowed to see. But it's one of those pictures that Robert E. Duffy saw. Robert E. Duffy, that Kentucky State Trooper detective who was fired because he did the right damn thing and reported that bullshit in 2008. All right? Fired. He goes on to be and he was an outstanding officer in Hazard, Kentucky for the KSP, which is difficult to find sometimes. He then goes on to Paris and becomes a very good, still remains a very good law enforcement officer until he passed away in January of this year. All right, so it was 2008. This school trip, I think, 2017, I forgot what year the school trip was. 17, I think. That child was raped. She then reports it, is told that it's her fault not to press charges. Donald Mamalini fails to do what he's supposed to do and report it to the local PD. He instead calls Hazard PD because he's trying to keep it contained. He then decides that, or chooses to let the other children, so the victim sits in the front of the bus, some of the rapist friends are in the back of the bus chanting at the girl. Chanting, trying to intimidate her. All right. He lets that shit go on. He does it. Sheena Breening does it. Luke Glaser does it. They do that. All right. The reason those two things are related, and by God, they are, by George, they are related. The reason those two things are related, Donald Mamalini, Sheena Breeding, Luke Glaser, they try to say that the victim cannot do anything to us because we fall under what's called qualified immunity. Now, qualified immunity is when you hold a position of power, like a law enforcement officer, you hold that and you accidentally shoot an unarmed black man in the back. And because you've done that bullshit, you come up and say, they can't prosecute me because I shot an unarmed black man in the back. And some cops get off on that. Probably sexually too. All right. Donald Mamalini, Sheena Breeding, Luke Glaser tried to claim qualified immunity so they don't have to face any consequences for the rape of that child and then their subsequent actions following that rape. Okay. The appeals court says, you guys are full of shit. No. Now, the city of Hazard, they actually settled that lawsuit. They settled because, yeah, you're going to settle that shit. But here's what's interesting. What's interesting is there was a circuit judge, Alicia, who dismisses the charges. Circuit Judge Alicia dismisses the charges. Now, why am I talking about that? And why did I bring up those pictures from 2008 back of Happy's vehicle as he's giving children marijuana and alcohol? What on earth? What is there a relation? Is there a reason that Brett Johnson is doing that? Yeah. Yeah. One of those children in the back of that car is the daughter of a certain circuit judge. This shit is absolutely intertwined throughout. Generational almost. All right? Generational almost. So, there you go. There you go. You want to know, yeah. You want to know, there you go. I don't say shit on this show just to be saying it. I don't throw stuff out there without purpose, without reason, without an intent. I don't do that. I've told the bad guys that I'm better at what I do than they will ever be at anything in their life. And I mean that. This shit is just getting started. You think that the stuff that I bust through the door with is the most damning stuff that I've got. It's not. It's the lowest level that I've got. I don't start with the cliffhangers. I don't start with the climax, even though, hot dog down a hallway, Scott Blair may want that. I don't do that. I don't. Start low. Keep building. Keep building. And it gets worse. It gets worse. This is not something that's going away for you guys. It's not something that's going to pass. It's not something that you're going to walk away from unscathed. It's not. And I don't give a flying fuck what you have to say about me. I went to prison for 7.5 years. One of the most important lessons that I learned in my life is not to find value from the way that people view me. Value comes from inside. That's where it comes. I don't give a damn how you people view me that are on the bad side. I don't give a what? So you're going to bring up stuff? Go do it. Do it. Shit. You want to come on the show? I'll do a whole show. If you guys want to come on, we'll talk it out about that. That would intimidate me. All right. How old were the girls in those photos? They were, high school students, children. I'll be honest, Hansen can be a little prickish, but I've never heard any corruption on him, Frankenberry, and that's why I said that this morning, okay? Missy Combs, too bad we can't see bank statements. Bet there are a lot of payouts. That's very true. That's very true. All right, so that's what's been going on today. My guest, he's sitting there going, he just kind of whispered at me. He's like, Brett, I don't even know if I want to come on today because you already talking about some serious shit. What do you think? You want to? All right, we'll bring you on in a second. It's okay. It's okay. I told everybody that we had a guest that was a lot like Brett Johnson. A lot like Brett Johnson, only shorter and meaner. How are you doing? You don't have a mic, do you? He don't have a mic. He don't have a mic. This is what? Yes. You want me to say that? Another Scott Blair joke? Do we like Scott Blair? Do we want Scott Blair, get us some meth? Can he get it? Can he get us some meth? I've never tried meth. I understand, though, that meth results when certain people take meth, that they're bums, they wake up with a sore bum hole in the morning. Actually, they don't have to wake up because the meth keeps them up. So, yeah. Oh, my God. Did you watch that Brett Johnson show this morning? That motherfucker brought a puppet on to roast these some of my bitches. I cannot believe it. He brought a puppet. Yes, he did. Yeah, he did. Go figure. Oh, never mind. Come here, little Pookie. Come here. Come here. Come here, little Pookie. All right, Pookie. I know you've been trying. You've been trying to get your campaign up since last night. You're very dedicated to the people of Perry County. You know that you are the star of the Brett Johnson Show. I know. The sign back there says the Brett Johnson Show. It needs to say the Pookie Show. We'll get you one made, okay? Get you some T-shirts made, some little campaign buttons. You want to do that? Would you like to tell the people of Hazard, Kentucky, that they need a real sheriff? Yes, they do. They need a real sheriff. They need a real one. They need a real sheriff that's going to piss all over crime. That's going to take a bite out of crime's ass. And you can't be bought off, can you? Rotisserie chicken, doggy treats, pepperoni. I'll buy you all that, okay? The people of Perry County need you, my friend. That's Pookie. Vote Pookie 2026. That dude, he's got dogs, he's got puppets, and he still finds time to roast all of our asses. Where does he find the time? How's he able to do it? I don't know, but I do know he brought a fucking puppet in. You know you're becoming the laughing stock of an entire region when a former criminal, me, has the audacity to tell the truth on you, but not only the audacity to tell the truth, also brings a puppet in to ridicule you. I told you before, got different courts out there. You got the judicial, which is where Noah back. We might get some justice today for Emily Clark's family. You've got the higher court where you will answer to the Lord before the day is done. You've got that, and then you've got the court of public opinion, which is what we are conducting on this show. Absolutely we are, and I know opinion. Like I said earlier, everyone's got an opinion. Scott Blair's they're all like assholes. Scott Blair's is bigger than everyone else's. Who we got? Oh, let's see what we got. It's coming through. Hold on. This is Brett Johnson. From who? From what? From the podcast. Yes, the podcast. Are you wanting to be on the show right now? Because we're live on the air, and I'm taking this call on the air. So, are you wanting to be on the show? Sure, absolutely. Call me back later. Thanks. Bye. They decided that they did not want to be on the air right now. How they couldn't know that we're broadcasting live as they're calling it, I don't know. All right. We'll take a look at the comments and go from there. Don't you just love getting under the skin with the truth? I mean, here's the thing. And the only thing that matters is the truth. Okay? The truth is more important than being liked. The truth is more important than the consequences that may come with telling the truth. History is littered with individuals who told the truth. They told the truth, and the consequences were such that they were killed. All right? But the truth that they told lived on. There's a book. There's a book of individuals who told the truth. They told the truth. The Apostle Paul, Saul of Tarsus, and I used to despise Paul, despise that guy. Now I'm a big fan. Saul of Tarsus had a career going out and murdering those individuals who told the truth until he had that conversion on the road of Damascus. And then he told the truth. People point out my past to me. And Paul said that he was the worst of sinners. If Paul, the worst of sinners, can turn his life around with the help of God, everyone else can too. There's no one that cannot do that. No one. All right. That's what I believe. I know that. I know that. I have faith in that. So let's bear that in mind. That does not mean you can fix a child predator. You can't. You can't, because it's inherent in them. You can't fix a child predator any more than you can fix, me liking women. All right. It's just inherent in that. That doesn't mean they have to act on those desires. People can change. People can choose to do better. I see these comments coming in on the show of Hazard and Eastern Kentucky has always been corrupt. There's no fixing that. Well, no, it wasn't always corrupt. It wasn't. It wasn't. Corruption was there, but it wasn't always corrupt. People chose to turn Hazard into that, and they chose to victimize the regular people of Hazard, Kentucky, and the kids to the point that they couldn't speak out because they were fearful of the consequences they would face. All right? When you get an avenue where you're able to do the right damn thing, you have the opportunity to change. I chose to turn my life around, but unless I would have been given that opportunity, that path to do that, I would probably be back in prison for 20 years. So it's the path, it's the opportunity. When you see an opportunity, do you take that path? Or do you continue on the way you've been because it's comfortable, because it's what you know, because you fear change? You don't know what the outcome is going to be. Do you take that chance, or do you sit there and wallow in self-pity and say we can't change anything because this is the way it's always been, this is the way it's always going to be? No, it doesn't have to be. It does not have to be. That's my sermon for the day. All right. Check the comments. We're going to close the show out. Oh, good. I'm getting in right at an hour today. Gail Cornett, I love your show, and I love Pookie. He's the cutest. I've been so busy. I, of course, have not ate my pork chop biscuit or my steak biscuit. And I hadn't done the unpaid promo of the day. Monster Rehab energy drinks. I'm getting a little parched. I just popped the top on this nasty ass tea and lemonade. Someone mentioned that I may want to try the Alani energy drink, and I told them I would, but what I didn't say is that when they said Alani energy drink, I immediately thought Alani is that Italian for tastes like piss. And it may be. I'm going to pick one up, and we'll try it on the show. All right, let's see if I can get a swig of this nasty stuff down. Yeah. Man, I got it down. Did I ever? All right, so, Gail, I love your show. Love the Pookie. He's the cutest. Pookie's a good guy. He's a good guy. Elizabeth Hall, good morning, Pookie. Good morning, Pookie. Elizabeth says hi. Let's see. Shot the jaw. What kind of dog is that, and how old? See, so he is a Chihuahua. And my divorce is final on Thursday, April 2nd. It has been, I was one that filed, and even though it was the right choice, it's a huge decision. It's a huge decision. It was what I knew. It was what I was comfortable with. And I feared change. I feared the unknown. And it was a decision that even today is a lot of weight, a lot of emotion. And Thursday is when it finalizes. I picked Pookie up. I was a month to myself in this little bitty cramped ass apartment. I was a month to myself and looking at these walls, and I had at the house when I left, there were two pups. Both of them, they were my pups. but I left them there. And they were Chihuahuas. And what happened was, is when we first got the first one, it was a COVID pup. When we first got the first one, my wife was sitting there, and I had a couple of cats running around. And she looks at me, she said, "Can we get a dog?" And I was like, "Huh?" And she said, "Can we get a dog?" And she shows me this picture of this little Chihuahua, like 5 weeks old at this point in time. And it's sitting in its food bowl. And I was like, "Absolutely not. I will never, ever own a Chihuahua. Absolutely not. I'm a man. I'm not doing that." 2 weeks later, I looked at her and I said, "Go get the dog." So that was Daisy. And Daisy was my PTSD pup. She absolutely helped me cope with life and these demons that I've got and everything else. And so when I filed for divorce and I got by myself about a month later, I'm like, man, I need some company. So got little Pookie, drove to get him. And the little guy, he rides well now. For the first 2 months in a vehicle, a little dude who got car sick. You go about 20 minutes with him. By George, you better stop at 20 minutes, or he's going to let you know something as he throws up on you. But he's a great guy. He's helping me to no end. So yeah, he's a Chihuahua, and I like Chihuahuas now, man. They are extremely dedicated. They're very protective. It's important with those animals that you socialize them with other dogs and other people, because if you don't, all those small dogs, I know he looks very timid, and he is, but all those small dogs get a Napoleon complex. And I imagine that Sheriff Joe Engel may have a Napoleon complex as well. I don't know. Maybe the dude's like 6'6". I don't know. I view him, because I just see pictures, and in a picture he's like that. I view him as about 4'2", with an unfriendly disposition of hypocrisy and cognitive dissonance and failure to do the right damn thing. That's how I view Sheriff Joe, and lying about a video to the prosecutor. Again, let's point that out before we close the show up. The sheriff's office lied to John Hansen, Commonwealth attorney, about what was on the video. They lied. They said, no. You don't need to see the video. Now look. we ain't gonna lie to you, Sheriff. We ain't gonna lie to you, prosecutor. We ain't gonna lie to you. We're gonna tell you don't need to see the video. We've seen it for you. We've seen the video. You don't need to see that. I tell you what, I could bring it to you. I could, but I mean, it's just going to be a waste of your time. The only thing that video shows is that Novak bought that beer. He bought it. Yeah, he bought it. He bought it. He did. The video shows that. It shows it. Then the video shows that Novak brings the beer out. He places it in the lap of that child that he's been raping since 13. That we're not going to mention that now. He places it in the lap of her, and she's in the driver's seat. She drives away. That's what the sheriff's office told Hansen. Needless to say, when the truth does come out, and it did, turns out that those that are lied to in such a manner as to cause them public problems, turns out that those individuals, they don't like that none too much. My question would be, why would you tell that lie? Why? I mean, I know that, I know that Bill Back, he sold his Corvette, sold some other bullshit, I guess, so he could get the money to bond his boy out if his boy got bond. So far, he's not. Hopefully, he won't today if everything works the way it should. But for law enforcement to lie to a prosecutor about something that crucial, that absolutely has hard evidence behind it, that absolutely says, for that to happen, man, you guys are really, really doing something in that sheriff's office. I also understand that it's not like I don't have people in the sheriff's office that send me stuff. I also understand that that maybe a certain prosecutor showed up yesterday requesting the video and was told that the person who had access to the video wasn't there. So he needs to come back. And I guess that pissed that dude off even more. Reckoning day is nigh. Reckoning day is nigh. Pookie for Perry. You should call the show Pookie Anglerfish Show. Well, yeah, no. Stephanie Smith. Oh, the FBI call. Oh, it was somebody. Pookie and little Rosie need to be friends. There you go. Thank you, Baby Cock. Baby Blue, the corrupt POS got their puppets too. Believe that. Brett Johnson show puppies, puppets, and pedos. Man, that, shot in the jaw, I am probably going to use that line. You can bet on that. Missy Combs, Alani is the bomb, also sugar-free. I know I don't need extra sugar. I'm sweet enough. All right. I just got a Chihuahua. He is 10 weeks old. Pookie is right about 4.5 to 5 months old. I forgot to say how old he was. James Hickman, that's crazy, man. Where can you see the video? I posted a couple of James Hickman. Daddy paid for it. Daddy tried to pay $50,000 for the video. And evidently, the sheriff's department neglected to inform the prosecutor of that little tidbit as well. Think about that. I tell you what we'll do, we'll tell him what's on the video instead of showing him. That makes it much easier. We'll just tell him. That's all we'll do. We'll tell him and hope he doesn't ask for it. If he asks for it, we'll tell him that the person who has access to it ain't there that day and ain't there the next day and ain't there every day until he goes away or dies of old age. That's what we'll do. That's the only thing we can do. And whatever we do, we never, ever say that Bill Back, protector of child rapists, we never, ever mention that he tried to pay $50,000 for that video. If we mention that, this whole house of cards might come tumbling down on us. So are we all in this together? Let's give us a terrorist fist bump now. Bam! I mean, the conversation could not have been much different than that. It could not have. It had to be very similar to that, even if it was just a one-sided conversation, of Sheriff Joe or whoever it was talking to himself. Had to be something like that. I mean, it's. Am I wrong in thinking that's a little nuts? Just saying, just throwing that out there. So did the video disappear? No, it did not. So the video went on a thumb drive. The deputy who showed up to get the video, he was doing his job. You can bet your shiny ass he was doing his job. And he was none too happy. He was none too happy with the prospect of Noah Back getting off on these charges. He was doing his job. So he delivered that thumb drive with video to the sheriff's office where it is today, where, I am sure, I'm positive, I'm 100% confident that a certain prosecutor will have it in his hands today. Positive of that, or heads will roll. Yep. Truth is the only thing that matters. When one is telling the truth, people respond to that. When one is telling the truth, positive things happen. Negative things happen to those who deserve negative things, but positive things begin to happen. And we are going to tell the truth regardless of anything else that's out there. I slept on that story, that rumor that I told you this morning. That really bothered me last night because I was like, man, do you talk about that? Do you put it out there? What do you do? And luckily it was, while I slept, I thought on it and then showered this morning. I was like, well, Brett, there are all these other victims out there that don't have a voice for various reasons. And by you not talking about this, you would just be part of the problem and not part of bringing these things to light and talking about it and bringing daylight to these issues. So I got out and I was like, okay. And that's why I did that. Okay. That's why I did that. And we're going to continue to do that. We're going to continue to do it. And sometimes we'll be able to have fun as we roast their asses around the virtual campfire. And sometimes it will be a very sobering thing because, a lot of this stuff is very serious stuff. Okay. Frankenberry, when they can't attack the message, they attack the messenger. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. When the truth is out there, they try to damage the person that's speaking the truth. And this is something that I've mentioned before. I'm going to say this again. When you decide to stand up, speak out, do the right damn thing, and you're speaking it out against people, against power, it's very important. It's extremely important that you have your ducks in a row. If you do not, if you're doing some sort of bullshit, it ain't going to work. It's not going to work. If you're harming people, if you're victimizing people, if you're doing crime, whatever that is, and you're sitting there, saying, well, these people are doing that too, you're a hypocrite. People are going to see that. They're going to understand that. They're not going to listen to you. It's not going to resonate. No one's going to respond to that. And they're going to punish you because you spoke against the people in power, and they're going to get your ass because you are doing some bullshit. So have your ducks in a row. I've been a decade on the good guy side. I'm like a moral voice in cybersecurity. I work hard every single day to do the right damn thing. I do a lot of free stuff. I assist the FBI. I've got my ducks in a row. So yeah, you can bring up stuff from the past. You ain't bringing up a damn thing from the present or the future. You're not. And you're not bringing up a damn thing from the past 10 years. So try as you might, ain't going to happen. Anyone else that wants to be doing the right damn thing and speaking up and speaking out, get your ducks in a row. Stop any bullshit that you're doing. Manus Roberts, that preacher back in the day that got me to learn that Bible so well, he made that comment to me. Either you are a servant of God or you are a servant of Satan. No in between. Which one are you? Either you're doing the right thing or you're doing the wrong thing. If you think you're doing the right thing while you're bullshitting around, no, you're not. You're doing the wrong thing. So decide. Choose that path. Once you choose it, proceed forth. Never look back. Never regret. Never question. Carry forward. That's what you do. That's how you do it. That's how you beat these son of bitches. That's how that happens. All right. So did the video disappear? No, like I said, they've got it. Stephanie Smith, does Hansen know this now about him trying to buy off? Yes. Yes, he does. Yes, he absolutely does. Melinda Gale, I had never heard that story. I did hear that Marian was traveling between Leslie and Perry, preaching, and it pissed off the wrong dealer. But there's no truth to that either. And again, I don't know. I was told what I mentioned today by multiple individuals. The story was similar enough across different people who were not connected to each other that it's worth me mentioning it to get more people reaching out so that we can arrive, hopefully, at a narrative that makes sense and that hopefully some law enforcement officer somewhere will pick that up. Fortunately, Brett Johnson seems to be very well connected with law enforcement. Yes, he is. All right. Donna Hooker Everso, if you didn't do that, we'd never know. I appreciate that, truly. Jordan Godsey, I just wonder how many had shit running down their leg till you pulled that puppet out. I know. I think that's the first time that guy has ever been on the show, and he's going to come back because I think we'll get you mic'd up because you're going to be able to say stuff that I can't, right? That's right. What I can do, I figure what I can do. Like if anyone ever asked me how I knew about Robert Duffy since he died in January. How I knew that story about those pictures of Happy Mobilini and how Robert Duffy got fired because of that, because he did the right damn thing. If anyone ever asked me, I was just going to say, well, Robert Duffy came to me in a dream. In a dream. I do that. I talk with the dead. That's what I was going to say. I probably will say that. And, if someone asks you about some of this, if I decide to really go off the handle and start spouting off a bunch of stuff, I'll do it with a puppet. That way, if anything ever happens, I'll try to play crazy and say, no, it wasn't me. It was the puppet. Yeah, the puppet has his own voice. Yeah. Now, I didn't say he has his own brain. You'll have to ask the puppet. And I'll try to play it off like that. We'll see if it works. If nothing else, it will be a lot of fun. I promise you, it'll be a lot of fun. All right, James Hickman. Hey, how you doing, man? Peggy Logan. I would not want to stand in the judgment line beside of the people that think that the truth won't be known. All will be revealed in front of God. Absolutely right. What's the puppet's name? I don't have a name for him yet. I don't. Bretty, evil Brett, asshole Brett, something like that. You guys suggest a name, I'll name him that. All right. My name is Brett Johnson. We are closing out this show. I did not mention Glen Baker. I did not mention Joe Simpson. I did mention June. I said that June was not the devil. I'm not saying that she's a devil. I did say maybe a lesser demon, certainly a more ugly demon, but I would not, again, I said it in public, did not mean to, but I did anyway. Glen Baker, Joe Richards, that's his name. I said Simpson, Joe Richards. I was told this story, and the thing is, I'm gonna close the show out after this. I'm gonna leave you guys with a thought on this. Motivations for murder. Like if I'm committing cybercrime, the three motivations are status, I'm trying to impress my criminal peers; cash, I'm trying to profit; or ideology, I just don't like you. Like this show is now an ideological show. I just don't. It turns out that we just don't like pedophiles. Who would have thought? It turns out that we just don't like corrupt individuals, and especially corrupt individuals who protect pedophiles and harm the community. Who would have thought? Well, that's an ideological event, is what that is. This is an ideological show. We don't do this show to make money. Those who tried to claim at the beginning, oh, he's just doing it for clicks, he's making money. Nope, not one penny. Maybe in the future, not one penny. So suck it. Murder typically happens if it's a crime of emotion. Husband walks in on the wife and she's bumping uglies. He sees the beast with two backs. He might get upset enough to kill them both. So, murder can be emotional. Crime of passion. Murder can be for profit. Murder can be because, a businessman in Perry County marries a woman, and one of the family members reached out to me. I can't find the comment now. So if you're watching this show, please reach out to me again. I do want to talk to you. All right. Murder can be because a businessman in Perry County marries a woman and is about to give her everything. He's not even known her that long, and he's going to give her everything, and we're not going to get anything. Let's kill the son of a bitch. Could be because of something like that. And what I was told yesterday, it could be because, of a land deal that a certain individual who pissed everyone off in Woodland Park when he moved in there, could be because of an individual that had, a land contract or an agreement with another businessman that later got murdered. And the agreement kind of read that, hey, if one of us dies, the other one gets everything. Oops. Could be because of that. And this Joe Richards guy, his name has popped up a couple of times. Could be. I don't know. Could be. That's one theory. Certainly Tony Eversole, from what I was told, he went on like a 3-week vacation to Florida right after Roy Campbell was murdered, and who paid for that vacation was June. Maybe she was just, thanking him for all of his help in assisting the investigation and making sure that she was able to burn some of the evidence within 24 hours of that murder happening. I don't know. Inquiring minds want to know. That's food for thought for the rest of the day. I don't give a flying fuck who we call out on this show. I don't. It doesn't matter. The truth, Romans 2:11, no respecter of persons. The truth does not respect a person. The truth lies outside of that. The truth does not care if you're rich or poor, if you're educated or uneducated, if you are rich or powerful, if you are important or not. The truth is there regardless of who you are. And this show is there regardless of who you are. All right. Moving right along. Lawrence Joseph, is that who you're referring to with Glen Baker? No, Joe Richards is who I was referring to with Glen Baker. Hello, got sent her by a friend today. Tim Jones. Oh, got sent here by a friend today. Tim, I hope you're doing all right. Thank you for listening in. I hope you. I don't know if you enjoyed the show or not. I'm not sure this is a show to enjoy. We do roast people. We do tell the truth, and it's evidently being discussed by a few people in the Kentucky area. I had people reach out to me about the Steins case in Letcher County. We're going to be talking about that. I'm still looking for a phone call about Amber Spradlin. I think that's an important topic to discuss as well. The Steins case is interesting because, the sheriff goes in and I guess he absolutely blows the hell away out of this judge. He decided that he was going to exact justice. I guess he thought that justice would not be found unless he acted. I don't know. I don't know the particulars of the case. I'm going to learn that. I don't know the particulars of the case other than what was on the news. There's a lot more information about that. These, and I guess the Letcher County, the story goes that there was like a sex trafficking ring that some of the people are coming up for prosecution or custody or anything else like that. In order for them to get their way, the judge was like, well, let me introduce you to hot dog down a hallway, Scott Blair. Now, I'm just saying that as a joke. I don't really mean that. All right. So, but, sexual favors in return for favorable dispositions on your case. And evidently that sheriff, some of that affected him or had affected him or was going to, or some bullshit. And he decided, no, I'm just going to pop a cap in your ass. And he does on camera in front of everyone so that it can be broadcast on Fox News, CNN, and every place else. I mean, if you're going to go, go hard. Choose that path. Commit to it. Follow forward. Don't look back. Don't question. That's how you facilitate victory. And evidently, Steins believed in that as well. We're going to find out more about that. We're going to talk about that as well. Okay. Have a blessed day, Brett. Stephanie Smith, you as well. Tim Jones here. Sorry, my friend, but yes, I'm subscribed now. Tim, I truly appreciate that. Thank you so much. Nutty Buddy, look into the one I mentioned, plenty of corruption involved, and I absolutely will. My name is Brett Johnson. This is the Brett Johnson Show, where we either piss somebody off or we inform a community of all the bullshit that's going on, probably doing both at the same time. And sometimes we piss off that person that we're informing as well. That just happens. That's part of what's going on. My name is Brett Johnson. This is the Brett Johnson Show. Here on this show, we, because I am from Eastern Kentucky, Hazard, we are Eastern Kentucky. We are a very proud people. We have forgotten that, but we are remembering that. We are a very proud people. We do stand tall. We do speak up and speak out, and we do the right thing. We have had enough. Until tomorrow, 8 a.m. Central, my name is Brett Johnson. Just do the right damn thing.